We all want resilient kids, but what does that resilience actually look like in childhood? What can it mean for the kids in our lives? I see often that people have a goal they want children to attain or to work towards, but they don't have a clear definition of what that goal would be. It's that they want the child to show more respect, but what does that look like? So let's talk about what resilience actually is for kids. If I was going to give you just the most basic definition of resilience in childhood, I would define it as the ability to bounce back from challenges. That's going to be really important. The ability to bounce back from challenges. You've probably heard the mantra that if you fall off the horse, you got to get back on. Or if you fall down 9 times, you got to get up 10. That is resilience. That ability to keep going when something is difficult or to try again when it doesn't work out how you wanted, not just giving up easily or giving up because it didn't work out the first time. And it's also important to understand that it's this ability to bounce back, but also resilience isn't something kids are born with. It's learned through experience. Now, babies are resilient in other ways. Today, I'm talking about challenges and being able to bounce back after things don't go your way. But if you've ever had a baby, you know that sometimes they bump into things or fall over. When I was a very young child, I was running around. My brothers and I used to put newspapers down on the carpet in our living room, and we would run and slide on the newspapers. I do not recommend that you do this, but we would run and slide on the newspapers and just slide around and be having a great time. Well, one time I was running and sliding, and I ran and slid and fell, and my head hit the fireplace, and my head just started gushing blood. And my dad said he thought that that was the end of me. Well, they got me to the hospital and they stitched me all up and they said, "Oh no, the head just bleeds a whole lot. He'll be fine." Who knows if I turned out okay or not, but they got it all taken care of. And sometimes there are things that happen with babies and little kids where we think, "Oh my goodness, this is it. That's it." And it can be amazing to see what their bodies are really capable of withstanding. The bumps and the scrapes and the falls sometimes are things that kids can go through. And yes, that's a resilient factor that they are just born with. But this ability to bounce back from challenges is not something that kids are born with. It's learned through experience. And I told you it was going to be important to talk about that bouncing back from challenges. So if you combine that bouncing back from challenges with understanding that resilience isn't something kids are born with, then that can explain why protecting kids from every challenge can unintentionally prevent them from developing resilience. Let me explain. If resilience is bouncing back from a challenge or being able to keep going through a challenge, if you never let a child go through a challenge, then they can't bounce back from it or they can't keep going through it. So preventing them from the challenge at all is preventing them from being able to bounce back or keep going. And if it's something that kids aren't born with, then it's something they have to learn. And it's not something that you can sit down with a child and tell them to keep going and tell them that they need to try again. And that just puts all the connections in the brain and that's just going to make them try hard and do it. No, they have to practice that skill. And as they practice it more and more and more by bouncing back from challenges or continuing to go through difficult times, that is how they can develop resilience. So, resilience is that ability to bounce back or keep going. It's not something that kids are just born with. They have to learn it through experience. And protecting them from every challenge can prevent them from developing resilience, which means they're going to become more dependent on you, more reliant on you, and less able to regulate themselves, tolerate discomforts, and bounce back or keep going through difficult times. If this idea is resonating with you, make sure you like this video and follow and subscribe on the channel for more on how you can help your child thrive.